I was sitting on our brown flowered couch in the living room when my mom came in and said, "Hannah, I just want to talk to you about something. Dad and I are getting divorced." I remember the exact day that my mom said this to me for two reasons. One, because it was her birthday, and two, because I wrote it in my diary. I'm Hannah, the Wife Without Kids. This channel is a positive and non-judgmental community to support your choice to live the child-free life. My diary entry for that day really only had two words in it. Dad left. Those two words were the only time that I wrote about my parents' divorce in my diary. Technically, this was supposed to be a 1-year diary, but it was actually like a 10-year diary for me. I didn't write in it often at all. For most people, their diary is a place where they can write down their deepest, darkest thoughts and secrets. And it feels safe for a lot of people to write down what they're feeling, but it never felt safe for me. Because when you write something down, it's on paper, and that means people can find it, and you never know what people are going to do with that personal information that they find about you. The thought of that made me so uncomfortable, so I just kept everything inside. That sentence obviously changed my life quite a bit, and in that moment, I determined that I was going to be strong. By strong, I meant I wasn't going to share this news with anyone. I didn't want to burden anyone with what I was going through. I didn't want people to see me cry. I didn't want people to see me upset. I wanted to be strong for my siblings and my mom. Of course, nobody told me I had to take on this role. It was just something that I felt like I needed to do, and it was somehow comforting to me. I can think of several reasons why I was a private person. I grew up in a family that we kept our business to ourselves. We didn't air our dirty laundry, so to speak. I come from a strong Swiss family. We very much respect discretion and privacy. And no, not the people who make IKEA. That's Sweden. Sweden is here, Switzerland is right here. I'm also a pretty strong introvert, so I tend to like to keep to myself. And so I kept everything inside and just continued life as normal. I went to school, I hung out with my friends, and one day one of my friends said to me, "Hannah, I want to talk to you about something." She let me know that her parents were getting divorced, and I knew exactly what she was going through, but I hadn't actually told her that my parents were not together anymore. She spent a lot of time talking to me about her parents' divorce. She told me how upset she was that her dad moved away, that she hardly got to see him anymore. She told me how much she missed him. She told me her frustrations with her mom, and I felt good being able to be strong for her. I did tell her one day, "Hey, yeah, by the way, my parents got divorced too." And she wanted to know some details, but I just didn't feel comfortable saying much, so I said, "It's okay, I'm fine, don't worry about it." And overall, I felt fine. I didn't feel like I needed to talk to her. The years passed, my mom got remarried, I went to university. I just became the strong one for other people. I was the person people came to when they needed to talk about things that were bothering them, or when they needed to talk about a breakup, or when they needed to talk about a fight they'd had with someone that they loved. And being in this role really made me feel like I was helping people. I felt very fulfilled doing it. And then I met Michael, and he is the exact opposite of who I am. Oh, Michael is my husband, for those of you that might not know who he is. Because he's the exact opposite of me, life was very different with him. He could easily strike up conversations with a perfect stranger and have them laughing within seconds. He was willing to talk about any topic, no matter what it was or how uncomfortable it might be. If we had a challenge in our relationship, he was the first one to say, "Hey, let's talk about this. Something's not right here. How are you feeling?" If he felt emotion about something, he would show it. One day, the two of us went to a memorial service for someone that I had known. It was in this tiny little church that was packed with people. It was such a hot day. And I remember we were sitting up on the balcony listening as people went up and were sharing memories that they had of this person. And I happened to look over at Michael, and he was crying. He had never met this person that was being talked about, ever. But he felt the love and the care and the sadness that people had now that this person was no longer around. I think they call those type of people empaths, right? And yes, I did ask his permission before I shared that. One time, Michael and I went to hang out with a bunch of our friends, and the group got around to talking about relationships. And I remember he shared something about our relationship, and it made me really uncomfortable. And after we had finished the dinner, I said to him, "You know, I found that was really personal, and that's not something that I would have shared with people." And he said to me, "Hannah, I hear people talking about that kind of stuff all the time. I don't think that's private at all. I had no clue you thought it was private, or I wouldn't have shared it." We were on completely opposite spectrums. And when moments like that happened in life, it made me think, okay, maybe I could be a little more open with people. Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing. And so I'd be talking to a friend and we'd get on a topic about something that, I thought was a little bit personal. And I would say, all right, this is my chance. I feel very comfortable with this person. I know they're not going to say anything about what I want to tell them. And so I'm just going to go ahead and share this little piece of information. And I wouldn't. I would chicken out and I would say, no, Hannah, don't share that. Just keep it inside you. A couple of years ago, I decided to make a YouTube channel because I wanted to challenge myself to do something that I wasn't familiar with, something I had absolutely no skill in, and it's still debatable whether or not I have a lot of skill in this area, but anyway, I've learned a lot and I'm still doing it. I started letting people see glimpses into my life, which was completely unnatural for me. I was doing cleaning videos, so people saw the inside of my house, they saw my pets, and eventually I was brave enough to show my face on camera. A question I would get asked a lot in my day-to-day life was why I didn't want kids or why I didn't have kids. And while I knew in my head why I didn't want kids, it didn't really seem like a good enough answer for people. The reason I didn't want kids was just because I didn't want kids. I didn't want the experience of being a mom. Nothing about that appealed to me. And so one day I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from the cleaning videos and I am making this video about why I do not want kids. And I made it and I edited it and I was like, I don't think I can put this up. This is way too personal. It feels so uncomfortable and strange. But then I said, you know what? Just do it and see what happens. You can always unlist the video if you want. And so I took a deep breath and I published the video. And that video got a lot more views than anything I had ever uploaded. It got a lot more comments than anything I ever uploaded. And as I started to see the comments that came in, I realized that I was not the only child-free person on the earth. I was not the only person that sometimes felt alone or felt lonely or felt like I didn't belong with other people because I didn't have kids. Publishing that child-free video made me realize that there were so many other people out there that did not want kids, that were looking for support, that were looking for a community, that were looking for someone to say to them, hey, you know what? It's totally normal not to want kids. There were people who didn't have the support of their families or their communities or their friends. I started to realize that people needed someone to talk about children being a choice. I'm not the most eloquent speaker, but it's been a couple of years since I published that video, and I've realized something. There is value in me being more open and vulnerable with certain aspects of my life. I would have never met any of you if I hadn't made that first child-free video. This amazing, supportive, and positive child-free community wouldn't exist. Being open about my child-free choice and my child-free journey has not come easily for me. It's been a challenge. I appreciate this community so much. You have given me the courage to be more open and to share more about my life, my child-free choice, and my child-free journey with other people. And there are days where I don't want to talk about it, to be honest, because people can be really unkind. One of the things that makes me the most excited is when I get a message from someone saying, I watched one of your videos and you know what? I'm gonna tell my parents that I don't want kids, or I'm gonna tell my friends that I choose the child-free life. And that makes me so happy. One of the most beneficial things we can do is share our stories with each other, and that might not come naturally for you either, but it's worth it because you get to encourage someone else to share their story.
If ordinary, shy, introverted, very private, Stoneheart Hannah can get here in front of a camera and talk about something as personal as living the child-free life with the general public, you can do that too.
To see how my family reacted to my choice to live child-free, go ahead and check out this video that appears right here. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you are never alone, and I will see you next week.